Good afternoon, this is Lucky Lynx. One thing I see a lot in doing consultations with folks, and that I've seen for a very long time, and that even some of my clients who are readers bring to me, is this concept of relationship karma. And I believe it is one of the most misunderstood and misrepresented concepts in this whole new age thing that has been going on since, what, the 60s. The idea that you are fated to be with someone simply because you have karma. And I've said this in other videos, and I'm going to say it again here, hoping that those of you who need this information because you've tuned in, that it's here for you to help maybe set you free from this idea that might be limiting you, binding you, or causing you pain. You hear it all the time. Someone finds themselves in a bad relationship, or a relationship that's hurting them, or a relationship that isn't working, or a relationship where they feel like they're not getting what they need, or a relationship where a person feels like they can't express themselves, they feel stifled, they can't be themselves. And they say, well, I'm with this person because I have karma. Ask them what it means. What does that mean? And watch what happens. They'll come up with all sorts of justifications. Well, it means that I'm fated to be with them. It means that we're supposed to be together for all eternity. It means that we're twinned. It means that we're... No. What you're saying at that moment is, I'm in a really bad relationship because I like the pain, and I'm using this as an excuse to justify it. Now, this video may piss some people off, and this video may get some people to go, oh my God, and this video may get some people to go, thank you. Karma does not mean that fated to do something. Karma means a habitual pattern. And I'm going to use a very nasty habit here to illustrate the same point, and that is the nasty habit of smoking. No one sets out a smoker. As a matter of fact, you actually start the habit, and when you start the habit, it's hard. You cough, you sputter. Your body doesn't want it. Your body doesn't want the carbon monoxide, the carbon dioxide, the formaldehyde. It doesn't want all that. This stuff's poison. It doesn't want any of it. But you get it into the habit of it, okay? And then it's your habitual pattern. And we can say we're addicted to it, we need it. We don't. We don't. Anyone who's ever quit smoking knows you don't need it. Anyone who's never started smoking knows you don't need it. It's a habitual pattern. So to say, well, this is my addiction, or if you substitute, this is my karma, I must continue to smoke. That's as silly as it sounds to say, well, I'm in a relationship that's harming me, that's making me miserable, but it's my karma to be in it. Now, I understand the power of when you meet someone and you feel and you know that this is not the first life that you've been together. Every one of us who grew up, you know, we made our best friend growing up. You knew that person somewhere before, or that first time you were in a relationship with someone and you knew, oh my gosh, this is not the first time I've done this. That does not mean that you're fated to do it for the rest of your life, or the rest of 50 lives, 20, you know. We have a choice. We always have a choice to stop a habit. The reason that people don't want to is because it's quite often challenging to stop a habit. We have to decide at that moment that we are not a bystander of our life, and we have to actually put ourselves in our own lives. We have to face the fact that we may not feel relevant in our life, and we have to understand what brought us to that point where we don't feel relevant, so that we leave ourselves in a relationship where we're not allowed to express ourselves or be who we are, or one that's constantly bringing us our pain, or one that's holding us down. We have to examine what our views of ourselves. We have to look and find those pieces of ourselves that we've shoved down and we've hid. We have to consider the environment that we live in and whether or not it's good for us or whether we have to change that environment. We have to look at the way our mind works, the way our habits work. These are not easy things, and they're not always pleasant things. They can be extremely liberating, and sometimes they can be really fun to learn, because as you set yourself free while looking at these things, it can become an interesting and fun journey. But like any habit, you have to decide that you're going to change it. And here's the thing. Anyone who's ever dealt with addiction, and in my work in hypnosis, I've dealt with a lot of people who've had addictions with things. Let me use cigarettes again. That moment, doesn't matter how much hypnosis we do, it doesn't matter how much analyzing a person does, it doesn't matter the reasons why someone started smoking. The thing that changes in that moment where the person stops the addiction is when they set it down and decide they're done. No one else can make that decision but you, but that one moment. Now there's all sorts of courses and classes, and I'll dissolve your karma for $99.95. Take this class and your karma between you and this person will be dissolved. All that's doing is giving you the courage at that moment to say, it's done. I'm done. And then when you do decide that you're done, you can go in a new direction. But the fact is, there is that moment where you decide you're going to change it. And then you continue to move forward to change it for the better. Now, this is where this video may get a little dark. At those moments when you do that, let's say that you're in a relationship, and I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a parent-child relationship or a friendship or a job or a romantic relationship. You may feel like in any one of these cases you're fated, that you have karma with this. When you decide to change that, you have to be very, very careful, because if you're in the habitual pattern, which is karma, the habitual pattern of getting involved in relationships where you're treated poorly or you're treated badly or someone holds you down or someone treats you not so good, you may find that in trying to heal, you may end up with someone who treats you the same way. So you may end up with a therapist, for example, who drugs you, because it's your habit. That's your karma, to have someone who, when you're trying to express yourself, when you're trying to get it out, when you're trying to liberate yourself, holds you down. That's where this gets really weird. And that's where karma can go wrong. That's why it's really important to understand what it is. It's a habit. So if you understand your habit is to put yourself in those situations where that's the kind of relationship, that's the kind of interaction you have, you got to ask yourself, okay, well, why am I doing this? What am I doing? And how am I going to change that? And then you got to go about changing it. And you got to take it one step at a time. And you got to give yourself a break. And have the confidence to know that you can do it. And that there are ways, and that you can find help to help you with it. That you're not alone, that the world is full of billions of people. And once you decide that you don't want to be treated anymore, you will find people who... But then when you do find the people who are different, that are different from who you're used to, who do want to see you succeed, you don't push them away. Or you find that relationship where things are different, and it really is different. You're not just lying to yourself, telling yourself it's different, only to find out it's the same thing again, because that was your habitual pattern. Then when you find something new, it may be uncomfortable. But that's what changing your habits. For those of you who used to smoke in restaurants, there used to be smoking sessions in restaurants. Well, you had to go sit in the non-smoking section. Well, everything was different. The people you knew, everything changed. It was uncomfortable. You had to go meet new people. You had to put yourself in new situations. It's the same thing. In a situation where you're in a relationship, you told yourself it's karma. Okay, fine. You want to break it? You're going to have to find yourself in new situations, probably. Meet new people. Put yourself in new situations. Try new things where you feel better about yourself. Do things that make you feel better about yourself. And make the changes one step at a time. Just remember, there's no such thing as having to be in a relationship with someone because it's fated. You may have met them because it was your karma to meet. But that does not mean that you have to sacrifice your whole life to them simply because there was a connection that lingered from somewhere else. I am Lucky Lynx, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do, and wishing you success in all of your relationships. If you'd like to get a reading from me, then my number is 779-302-8009. You can text me or call me to schedule the reading, or you can email me at conjurehope@gmail.com. If you'd like to take a tarot class, I have a class in tarot. It's a virtual class. I also have one in crystal ball scrying. I have one in playing cards, and I have one in Lenormand, and I also have one in how to read Mexican Loteria cards. If you'd like to take any of these courses, email me or call me or send me a text, and I'll give you all the details, what the course costs, everything. And remember, you have a choice in who your relationships are with, and you have a choice in the quality of your life and what you'd like your life to be. It may not always be easy. It may take some work, but nothing ever has to be written in stone.